It doesn't matter how long you live on this earth, how much money you accumulate, or how much attention you receive. What matters is the amount of positive energy you have spread in your life. Amit Ray. The value of a human life does not lie in the length of years, nor in the glittering numbers in the bank account, nor in fleeting, admiring glances. A sharp blade gently cuts through the shell of illusion, revealing a simple yet profound truth. In the end, what remains is not how much you have owned, but what you have left in the hearts of others. We often crave recognition, build fortresses of money to shield our insecurity, and chase admiring eyes to prove we exist. Yet the tighter we cling to these things, the emptier our souls become, because they are merely external values, fragile and dependent on others. Only the positive energy you radiate is an invisible yet eternal mark. It quietly slips into memory, a timely smile, a word of encouragement in despair, or simply a sincere presence, like a small candle with the power to banish darkness from an entire room. And miraculously, when you light up others, that very light returns to illuminate you. Material success and fame are not denied their value, but they must be placed in the right spot, as means, not the destination. A long life that is cold, a wealthy life that is lonely, a famous life that is empty, that is true failure. Conversely, a shorter, simpler life that is warm and radiant will become immortal in the hearts of others. What matters is not what I have achieved, but whose hearts I have touched. When you live with that mindset, life is no longer a race of accumulation, but a gentle journey of spreading light. And you will realize the true value of yourself lies not in what you keep, but in what you dare to give away. The key to finding happiness in this life is realizing that the only way to overcome is to transcend, to find happiness in simple joys, mastering the art of living fully in every moment. Brianna Wiest. Let go of the need to control everything, release the expectations that grip your mind. Human instinct loves to hold on, but the tighter we grasp, the more we are bound by what we hold. Transcendence is like opening your palm in the middle of a river. You stop resisting and merge with the flow. In that space, happiness is no longer dazzling explosions, but small, everyday vibrations. A deep breath upon waking, sunlight slipping through the curtains, or the peace of needing to prove nothing. Those simple joys are like clear drops of water, seemingly small, yet enough to nourish an entire ocean of the inner self, if only we pause to listen. Living fully in every moment is a subtle spiritual discipline. It demands that you be completely present, not pulled back by the past, nor pushed forward by the future. When the mind stops scattering, each moment becomes its own universe, complete, lacking nothing, exceeding nothing. Happiness is not something to chase outside, but something that blooms from within when you stop resisting and begin to harmonize. And in that harmony, you will realize a gentle yet profound truth. Life has never lacked happiness. You simply pass through it without truly seeing. You were born on this earth to become the best version of yourself, to live your purpose fully, and do so courageously. Steve Maraboli. Life is not a copy, but a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Not the perfect mold drawn by society, but the moment you dare to face yourself, peel away layers of fear, doubt, and self-imposed limits. We often seek safety by resembling others, yet that very safety becomes an invisible cage, trapping our potential. Living your purpose fully does not demand greatness right away, but understanding where you are going and why each step carries meaning. It is like a flame kindled in the heart, not needing to blaze before the world, only warm enough to guide through misty days. And courage is not the absence of fear, but continuing to step forward even when fear lingers nearby. The more we strive to become better by external standards, the further we drift from our true nature. But when we turn inward, accept our flaws, and nurture our authentic values, we draw closer to the best version of ourselves, one that needs no comparison, no proof, simply living true to who we are. It does not ask you to become someone else, only gently reminds you to return to yourself whole and brave. And in that courage, you will realize your life's purpose lies nowhere far away, but is created day by day through every brave choice, every step you dare to take, and every time you choose not to turn back from your own fear. Sometimes when you are in a dark place, you think you have been buried, but actually you have only been planted. Caine. There are times when the mind is stained with despair, everything around seems to collapse, light appears extinguished, and we feel life is burying us without mercy. What we call being buried is sometimes only the perspective of fear. In truth, it is the process of being planted quietly unfolding. When facing adversity, the brain often interprets it as a threat, causing us to shrink, lose faith, and feel powerless. But if we change the lens, we will see that darkness is not the end, but the necessary environment for transformation. Just as a seed must be buried deep in soil, endure pressure, isolation, and lack of light before sprouting, humans too need dark periods to break the old shell. Those painful circumstances hold the power to restructure the inner self. They force you to confront the deepest parts, fears, limits, outdated beliefs. And it is precisely in that confrontation that a new version quietly takes shape. Not noisily, not hastily, but like roots spreading through the earth before rising to greet the sun. The hardest part is not enduring the darkness, but holding faith when the outcome is not yet visible. In the being planted phase, you only feel stuck, with no proof yet. But it is exactly then that patience and faith become the inner light, helping you not to quit too soon. When you feel buried, try looking again. Perhaps you are not ending, but beginning in a different way. And if you stay persistent through the process, one day you will rise not merely to survive, but to bloom in a way even you never dreamed of. To live a happy life, you need very few things. Everything lies within yourself, in your way of thinking. Marcus Aurelius. Happiness is often imagined as a complex tower requiring countless external conditions. In reality, it is only a maze built by the mind itself. You need very few things is not advice for austere living, but a wake-up call. Most of what we chase is merely the illusion of desire, not the true needs of the soul. We often equate happiness with possession, more money, more achievements, more recognition. Yet the more we add, the more anxious the mind becomes, fearing loss. When happiness is tied to external circumstances, it becomes fragile, easily shattered, and never enough. It is our way of thinking that is the lens shaping every experience. In your way of thinking, this is the key. Two people in the same situation can live in entirely different worlds simply because of how they perceive it. One sees scarcity, the other abundance. One feels trapped, the other sees an opportunity to pause and understand themselves more deeply. The mind does not merely perceive, it creates reality. When you begin to simplify desires and observe the flow of thoughts, a gentle shift will occur. You no longer chase happiness as a distant goal, but realize it is already present in the small things. Peace when you stop comparing, lightness when you need no proof, wholeness when you cease seeking outside. When you master your thoughts, you are no longer led by circumstances. And in that mastery, you will see a simple yet profound truth. A happy life is not something to be attained, but a state that has always existed, waiting only for you to open your eyes and see it. Slow down and enjoy life. If you go too fast, you not only miss the beautiful scenery, but also miss the meaning of where you are going and why. Cantor. Modern people often live as if being chased, rushing from one goal to the next, measuring worth by speed and performance. But in that race, we quietly lose the ability to feel. Everything passes too quickly, experiences cannot settle, and life gradually becomes a chain of mechanical, soulless actions. Slow down does not mean abandoning ambition or stopping, but adjusting the rhythm of your inner breath so each step becomes conscious. Like slowing down a film, small details begin to emerge clearly: light, sound, emotion. Then you are not merely passing through life, but truly being in it. That very presence brings depth to every experience. We often rush forward and forget to ask why. We know the destination, but are unsure why we chose that path. When moving too fast, meaning is left behind, replaced by automatic reflexes and invisible pressure. Upon arrival, we may feel empty because the journey never truly belonged to us. When you slow down, you reconnect with purpose. Not only seeing the beautiful scenery outside, simple moments, small joys, but also the beautiful scenery inside. Clarity, peace, and the feeling of living in the right direction. Each step is no longer a mere means, but carries meaning in itself. Because life is not a path to be conquered as quickly as possible, but a journey to be experienced fully. And when you slow down enough to feel, you will realize Meaning does not lie at the destination, but right in the way you are walking now. Love the life you are living, live the life you love. Bob Marley. We often love life only when it suits us, and dare to live what we love only when we feel safe enough. Those two things chase each other, trapping us forever between reality is not good enough and the ideal we dare not touch. Love the life you are living is not advice to resign, but a profound shift in perception. When we reject reality, we unconsciously oppose life itself. But when we learn to accept, not passively, but with understanding and observation, you begin to see values once overlooked, the small, authentic things, moments of peace that need no conditions. Then the mind stops resisting, and happiness has space to bloom. While live the life you love is a call to courageous action, it demands honesty with yourself, a courage not everyone is ready for. To live what you love, you must dare to leave familiar molds, face uncertainty, and sometimes accept not being understood. But it is precisely in that commitment that you truly feel intense vitality, something no artificial safety can replace. When you know both how to love what you have and dare to create what you crave, life is no longer a choice between accept and change, but a harmonious flow between two shores. And in that harmony, you will realize you do not need to wait for a perfect life to love it, nor become someone else to live what you want. Right now, right in this circumstance, you can begin to love, to live, and gradually turn your life into something both authentic and meaningful belonging to you. I have a dream, Martin Luther King Jr. Inside you, there's a part knocking louder and louder, refusing to be forgotten any longer. A dream, when repeated, gradually shifts from thought to emotion, from emotion to urge, a gentle pressure that cannot be ignored. Repeating the dream is the way your inner self reminds you, this matters. But at the same time, it also reveals the gap between where you stand and where you want to go. That gap creates inner tension. On one side, the desire to rise, on the other, the fear of hurt if you fail. Many people turn the dream into a beautiful phrase to avoid that feeling. But a dream that exists only in words will slowly become postponed regret. It is like a small flame trapped in a glass cage, never extinguished, yet unable to blaze. Only when you dare to open the door, accept risk, accept imperfection, does the dream truly come alive. A dream does not demand that you be certain, only that you be honest. Honest about what you want, about what you fear, and about whether you dare take even one small step toward it. Because in the end, a dream is not to prove anything to the world, but the way you prove to yourself that you are truly living, not merely existing. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. Albert Einstein. We often hand the key to happiness to things outside a person, a relationship, a level of income, then unconsciously turn ourselves into dependents. When happiness is tied to people or things, it becomes fragile as glass. One small change and the entire meaning can collapse. When you tie your life to a goal, you shift the axis from possessing to becoming. A goal is not merely a destination, but an inner compass giving you direction even when circumstances change, giving you reason to stand up even when everything around has shifted. A person with a goal is like a flame that burns by itself. It needs no one to light it, depends on no external wind. Goals create meaning, and meaning is the foundation of lasting happiness. When you know where you are heading, difficulties are no longer meaningless but become part of the journey. Conversely, if happiness is tied only to people or things, you will forever live in fear of loss, because those things lie beyond your control. This does not mean you cannot love or cannot enjoy material things. The issue is not having but depending. With a goal, you can still love without losing yourself. You can still enjoy without turning possession into the condition for happiness. When you live for a goal, you are no longer swept by change, but become the one shaping your own life. And in that shaping, you will realize happiness is not something you hold, but something you are creating day by day, step by step, on the path you have chosen. Be persistent and never give up hope. George Lucas. Persistence and hope are not two separate concepts, but two sides of one enduring inner strength. One is the action of continuing to walk, The other is the light that keeps every step from becoming meaningless. We often overvalue results and undervalue the process. When clear progress is not yet visible, the brain easily falls into a sense of failure, making us want to stop to avoid pain. But most growth happens in silence, like roots spreading underground before any sign appears above. Persistence is therefore not stubborn blindness, but the ability to keep believing even without evidence. Hope is gentle spiritual energy. It does not promise everything will be wonderful immediately, but creates space for you to exist without being drowned by despair. A person without hope is like walking in the night without light. Each step becomes heavy and directionless. Just one small ray of light, even far away, is enough to guide and keep you moving. Hope is not always strong. Sometimes it is fragile, nearly extinguished. At those times, persistence is the act of protecting hope by continuing to walk, even if only one small step. Conversely, hope nourishes persistence by reminding you that the journey still has meaning. When you persist, you are resisting your own tendency to quit. When you hold hope, you are protecting the ability to believe in the future. And in that combination, you do not merely overcome difficulties, you become a stronger, deeper person, steady enough to keep going, even when the road ahead remains hazy.